Greetings, I'm Dr. Sean Reed, author of the Dating Toolbox, available on Amazon.com. So guys, if you like what you hear, what you see today, please hit that like and subscribe button. Okay, so today I'm going to do a little bragging. I'm going to talk about why my marriage is so awesome. Why is my marriage so good? And more importantly, how your relationships can be good as well. So if you watch this video, by the end, you're going to learn how to have strong, loving, positive relationships, the kind of relationships you want with women that are happy, that are uplifting, okay? And the key is you must know how to manage a woman's moods. Let me repeat that. You must know how to manage a woman's moods. Women behave completely off their mood. They behave completely off the way they feel. And so their behavior is going to be a reflection of how they feel at that particular moment. Men are different. Men are more, we try and be more rational. We try and be more logical. We try not to base our behavior on mood and feelings. And men and women are fundamentally different in this way. This, again, guys, is why you cannot get good advice from traditional psychologists and psychiatrists. They believe that women and men's brains are the same. We know it's a scientific fact that they are not the same. And unless you understand that difference, your relationships are going to be doomed to failure. That's why we have such a high divorce rate. That's why so many marriages fail. That's why so many marriages are unhappy. Men don't understand how to manage a woman's moods, and I'm going to teach you how to do that today. Okay, so by the way, the thumbnail today is a picture of my wife. I never use pictures of my wife, but I think maybe it's time to start using pictures of my wife, just so you can see that my wife is very young looking and beautiful, and I obviously am not. I look old. I'm not that good looking anymore. So if I'm able to maintain a happy relationship from my wife got carded when we went out last weekend, with such a younger, beautiful woman, I must be doing something right. And again, guys, it's all about managing moods. Okay, so like I said, last Saturday night, we had an amazing date night. We were cuddling, we were kissing, we were dancing. The night ended up in wonderful sex. And since then, things have been great. We've been just lovey-dovey since last Saturday. Today's Wednesday. She cooked me a gourmet meal Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I'm sure she'll have something great tonight. How do I get my wife to treat me so well? Again, guys, the key is managing her moods. Let's go back a little in time. Let's go back to 10, 12 days ago. My wife was, as so many women, was being moody. She was being moody. She was being unfriendly. She was being snippy. She was being argumentative with me. She was being unpleasant, okay? And the key here is how we deal with our women when they get in that situation. Most men make the mistake of arguing. I tell you guys again, don't do that. Psychologists say the key is communication. The key is not communication. In that situation, communication only makes things worse, okay? And I'll talk a little bit about why my wife and I why I know why she was being moody. It's because since I've retired, I'm on a fixed income and I don't have that much money anymore. And my wife is still paying a lot of bills. The way our bills were structured is I paid for the house. I put the down payment on the house. I paid the mortgage on the house, and I have paid the house off. So I'm retired now. I'm no longer working, but I also no longer have a mortgage. And my wife has paid the bills. She paid the insurance. She's paid the taxes. She's paid for a lot of the home improvements. So that has always been the deal we have had. And now that I'm retired, I no longer have a mortgage. My mortgage is paid off. It's fair, right? We don't have a $2,000 mortgage, but my wife is still spending probably at least $1,000 a month on everything else. And that's why she's upset. And I know that's why she's upset, but no talking about it is going to do any good. We need to repair our deck. I need to have it removed. We need to repair our fence. The agreement we have is anything outside of the house I pay for, and then anything inside the house she pays for. We've also got to get our kitchen remodeled, and we need a new dishwasher. So the disagreement came from the fact that she was spending about $2,500 on the dishwasher and remodel, and I was spending in excess of $4,000 on fixing the fence and removing the deck. And I made the audacious recommendation. I said, "Hey, honey, can we split the fence?" And of course, that's what pissed her off. Also, we had a situation with my son. Okay, I don't get into much parenting advice here. I don't profess to be an expert on parenting relationships, but my son, my wife has applied to all these expensive universities for my son. Okay, and my son does not do a lick of homework. He's not ready for universities. My son was also an elite wrestler. So I told my son, if you want to go away to some university, you have to get a wrestling scholarship. But he decided he didn't want to get a wrestling scholarship, which is completely his right to decide. And so now, my wife, I have $40,000 in his college fund, and my wife is expecting me to spend all that money for my son to go away to school when he doesn't do a lick of homework and he's not ready for university level work. So we have a disagreement on that. Also, my son does not do a lick of housework. He's a great kid, doesn't do drugs, doesn't get into trouble. He was an elite wrestler. He made state, which is only the very top, like 2% of wrestlers make it to that level. But he doesn't do any housework. And so we've had disagreement. He doesn't wash a dish. He doesn't do laundry. So we've had disagreement about that. Now, the reality is I'm right. A 17-year-old should be doing some housework, but that's not the way my wife sees it. So the problem here is we've got a situation, if we're being totally rational, I am right. My son should be doing some housework, but my wife doesn't believe that. She does everything for him. So we're in disagreement. Now, if we try and talk about that, all we're going to do is argue. So I don't talk about it. I avoid it. So when my wife got moody with me last weekend, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, instead of trying to discuss these issues, I knew it would only start arguments. So what did I do? I withdrew from the situation. I disappeared. I didn't argue. I stayed away from everyone. I avoided them. And if my wife is going to be mad and if she's going to be moody, she's going to do it on her own. So I disappeared from the situation. I withdrew. I've argued in other videos, and it bears repeating, the way to keep your woman happy is to give her three things: affection, romance, and housework. Okay? But if your wife is going to be moody, if she's going to be argumentative, you have to take those things away. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, normally I give my wife affection and romance. I stopped. I disappeared. Like I said, I'm not going to argue with her, but I'm not going to give her affection and romance when she's being moody and argumentative. So I disappeared. Okay? She stopped cooking. She normally cooks for me. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, she didn't cook. So by Wednesday, I stopped doing the dishes. Again, we want to give our wives affection, romance, and housework. That is the key to making your wife happy. But if she's going to be moody, if she's going to be argumentative, right? If she's going to deny you sex, stop doing these things. Now, if you have a good woman, if you select your woman properly, you'll have a good woman, and eventually she'll come around. And that's what happened with my wife. By Wednesday of last week, suddenly she had gotten over her moves. What probably happened is she realized she was being unreasonable, right? But I had to let her go through that process. The female mind is process oriented. So when they're moody, when they're argumentative, you have to let them go through that process, but let them go through that process on your own. Don't give them affection and romance. And if you really have to, at some point, withdraw the housework. So I stopped giving her affection. I stopped giving her romance. She stopped cooking for 3 days. So by day 3, I stopped doing the dishes. Okay? Fortunately, my wife turned it around. Wednesday night, all of a sudden she's sweet again. All of a sudden she's cooking again, and everything's good. So I returned that. When that happens, guys, When your wife comes back to you after a period of being moody and argumentative, don't revisit the argument. Okay, so in a lot of situations, a wife will come back and she will be sweet to you, and she will cook for you. Don't start arguing. Just forget about what she did. Let it go and return. Instead, go immediately back to giving her affection and romance. And I did so, and then our relationship was great again. All right, guys. So again, if you like what you saw and you heard today, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you want to get more in depth in this topic, you can please pick up my book. It's available on Amazon.com. There's a link down below to it. Again, please hit that like and subscribe button if you'd like to hear more about how we can get women to love us and how we can keep them in love with you guys. All right, thank you.